Hey guys, JG Yokohama, Jeff here, back at you with the weekly stack. Got a little bigger this week because, yeah, like everyone else, yeah, been home a little bit more. So still, I'm essential, so they're still paying me the same, but I just started getting reduced hours just to try to separate the teams a bit more at work. So I got to split up into a little bit more severe shifts now with little more gaps in between the shift changes. So yeah, more sterilization, that sort of thing. So basically, yeah, gained about 10 hours a week and no more overtime. So yeah, that's going to put a little damper on my vinyl and furniture buying for the new house. But I guess I'm safer, and yeah, as long as I'm not going too crazy, I'm paying the bills. Anyway, continuing on. So bigger stack, very eclectic week as far as listening. So let's just jump in. I didn't actually drop this for a while. I just saw this when I was flipping through the 7 inches because listened to a few 7 inches this week. But for Eric Weinbender, there you go. Red Ants, one of my favorite kind of garagey. I don't know if I call them Riot Girls, but they're definitely garage. Red Ants backed with Clawhammer. Yeah, very into that. There you go. Yeah, I think this was built more of a Clawhammer, but it's a split. I don't know. Always like Red Ants more though. But yeah, there you go, Eric. You might want to hunt that one down. So I recall it's pretty solid. But yeah, it's got the little tire or whatever on the label there. But yeah, yeah, garage rock. I'll probably like it. So moving on. Drop that later, actually. Right there. Yeah, always loved right hands. I think the only one I got left on vinyl, so I'd have to rebuy some. Oh. Anyway, continuing on. So, unfortunately, their drummer, what's his name? Danny Nim. Yeah, so yeah, he just passed Roy Loney, like, what, a month ago? And then, yeah, Danny. So, yeah, Flame and Groovies. I believe this was their debut album, but anyways, yeah, I like their stuff that came out a little bit later, a little more actually, but yeah, solid album. Flame and Groovies. This is Super Snaz, where Japanese band presumably got their name. They're really into the power pop. So yeah, power pop with a kind of a they took a lot of 50s influence on this, where everyone else was going psych. They went backwards. But yeah, solid album. This one's got "Girl Can't Help It," cover of course, and yeah, "Rocket Pneumonia," the "Boogie Woogie Flu," kind of appropriate nowadays. And let's see what else was really good on this. I think first one's free was pretty good on the B side, but yeah, it's a really solid album. This is the MOV repress, and you probably could still find them. I picked this up like a year or so ago, but even then, I think it was a little bit hard to get. But I'm sure you can still find them. But yeah, super nice pressing. MOV. So yeah, yeah, I regret not seeing them like a year or so ago. Just missed out on a lot of bands the last year. I just wasn't in the mood with having a kid and just being exhausted with work. Yeah, sorry, I'm in the sleep today. Next up, I had this on the turntable yesterday. The Graduate, one of my favorite movies. Really awesome soundtrack with yeah, of course, Mike Nichols, awesome director. But yeah, half of it's stuff by Simon and Garfunkel. Of course, yeah, everyone knows Scarborough Fair and Mrs. Robinson, Sound of Silence. Big bright green pleasure machine's quite good too. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of kind of like jazzy, loungy kind of music, which was by another fellow, Joseph Levine, I believe. But, yeah, solid soundtrack if you ever see it. It's on the Gray Columbia label. I've heard that is for classical music. But yeah, so this is I believe a stereo copy. But yeah, if you ever see these, I don't think they go for a lot of money, but it's a really solid soundtrack, especially if you like the movie. Next up, very different one. My original Swans Greed. Yeah, it was kind of a rainy day yesterday, so this kind of was one of the first ones I dropped. Kind of sludgy, almost industrial, proto-industrial, I don't know, post-punk, whatever. But yeah, this is the original price tag. I tried giving it, I don't know, I have to get that off, I guess. That was from when I bought this, probably like 20 years ago, so I don't know if that sucker's coming off. Apparently I paid $15 for this in the 90s, so yeah, I imagine it's going for a bit more now. Yeah, they're not that hard to get. Actually, they are quite hard to get, is what I understand. So yeah, Swans, not for everyone, but yeah, it's enjoyable every once in a while. I enjoyed it enough not to purge it when I was downsizing my collection before moving to Japan. So yeah, definitely worth seeking out if you're into that. Yeah, it's kind of slow, dirt. Yeah, it's almost like they really printed 33 and a third on both sides, so it's pretty obvious. You don't need to up it to 45. It almost sounds like a 45. It's kind of that sludgy. But yeah, it's yeah. At least give it a listen on streaming. It's interesting. Next one is Bangles debut album. Yeah, so apparently I think they're still around. I think they reformed in the late 90s or early 2000s. But yeah, they're still around. The Bangles, they turned into a little more of a garagey group. Of course, they started out power pop. This is their debut. It doesn't really have any. All their big hits were on their second and third albums. Which I still have to find. But yeah, this one I found at the thrift store, a really minty copy. Yeah, I think I paid like it was either 50 cents or a couple bucks. I can't remember which thrift store I got it from. One's $2, which is the one I always find the really crazy stuff at. And then yeah, the one 50 cents. Sometimes I get really lucky, sometimes not. Yeah, yeah. You just have to hit it at the right time. God, I'd love to go in there now because I'm sure they have a lot of crazy stuff. But yeah, nah, I'm not going in there with the COVID. But yeah, it's a pretty solid power pop album. I wouldn't pay a lot for it because like there's nothing really super standout on it. I don't think they had any singles off this, but you could really you could tell that they had some stops. So yeah, the Bangles, the title "All Over the Place." Yeah, it's not really all over the place. It's pretty consistent album, but yeah, I don't know if they really had any radio hits off this because I didn't really recognize anything. Nothing really stood out, but it was a pretty solid album. But yeah, I wouldn't really pay up for it. So Bangles. Next, this is again. I think this was out of the 50-cent thrift, but I actually really like this one. Brandi Wells. So it's a smaller soul label out of Philly. So it's got the original insert. So this is kind of early, I think it was early 80s or late 70s, but I think it's an early 80s release. 81, yep, on WMOT Records, which have gone through a few owners, I believe. So Philly-based soul, kind of little soul tin. Little disco tinge on this one. But yeah, again, I probably wouldn't pay like a lot for it, but it actually is a really good album. If you ever see these, worth picking up. Probably find it in the bargain bin. Brandi Wells, definitely be picking up more if I see it. Here, this is a local band, Almighty Senators. This one's gonna be kind of hard to open. So this was, I don't know if they were DC based. I think they were Baltimore based because it's on Merkin Records. Merkin puts out, or put out, I don't know, I guess they're still around. They put out a lot of, put out a lot of kind of punky stuff out of the Baltimore scene. So it's got a little bit different sound than the usual DC sound on Merkin. I don't know if this is band specific or label specific, but yeah, there's Merkin Records. They got that little funny looking dude on it, kind of cool label. Yeah, Merkin, like they don't have they usually just do like one or two colors on their covers. I got a bunch of the stuff I picked up back in the 90s. I think they're still around though. So Almighty Senators. Yes, there we go. I don't think any of these guys really went on to anything after this, but yeah, what they are is kind of a funk ska band. So yeah, this actually aged a lot better than most of the Merkin stuff I picked up. But yeah, actually, I really like this album now. Like, I think when I bought it back in the day, wasn't crazy about it. Oh, actually, here, I'll show you the vinyl. It's kind of cool. So it's like a mostly white vinyl, but it's actually got a little bit of blue and red in there. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, marble. Yeah, I don't think marble was that big, especially multicolored marble in the '90s. Everything was solid colors for the most part, except for the occasional sub pop. But, yeah, I would definitely buy more of their stuff. It's aged a lot better than the other stuff on that label. So show some of the other stuff on that label another time. But yeah, Merkin Records. I was just watching Jay and Silent Bob. There was some other stuff going on there with Merkin. Yeah, that dropped on Amazon. If you haven't seen it, the new Jay and Silent Bob. Watching that last night after Dots and Loops broadcast. Here, this one, I think I showed this a while back. Sorry, guys, this one's a loud one. So this is a promo copy of ECM. I showed this a while back. Give it a proper listen. I do have to clean it up a little bit because I think this was one of the ones that had a little mold or something going on. This I have to clean it a little better than I did. But ECM Dave Holland. I work with the lighting today, so I open the windows a bit so I get some natural lights. But this is Emerald Tears. Yep, Emerald Tears. So Japanese press promo copy. So I believe it says like archive. I believe there was a bunch of these when I went to the record store, and I really wish I bought more because I was kind of bursting at the seams on storage, and my wife was getting a little busy because I was buying too many records of that month. But I really should have gone back. I bought a few of these. But ECM promo, Japanese promos have like a special stamp on them. You see that little box. But again, yeah, it says archive on there. But what this is, Dave Holland, the bassist, is only Dave Holland, so it's a solo record. Some of his original stuff, and it also has a Anthony Braxton cover on there. Not for everyone, but quite if you like jazz, free jazzy kind of stuff on the bass side of things. Yeah, it's only bass. It's quite interesting. It's pretty chill. It's good for like an evening. Have your tea or your coffee, chill. That is an awesome album. Not too heavy. It's a really chill album. Not much else I can say. It's just bass. If you like, if you're into like Charlie Hayden type stuff or Phil Holland type stuff, yeah, of course, yeah, solid stuff. Definitely, I really need Conference of Birds. I really, really want that one. It's always eluded me, which is crazy. In Japan, you can find any jazz album. That one never happened. Next, this is Impossibly Minty T-Rex. Not a single pop on the whole album, except probably not gonna. Well, it's not minty. It's got a little bend on the corner, but yeah, it looks really clean. Like this is came right out of the shrink. But I don't know if you can see this. This is a German. It's not a first press, but it's probably like a second, 72-ish. Yeah. The weird thing about this, and I thought I could get it off when I bought it, but I couldn't. You see that right there? That is an insect. It looks like a mosquito got pressed into the vinyl. It only affects the first about 20 seconds of play, and it's got just a little pop where that guy is, but it does play through. Tried soaking it with some cleaner. Yeah, I think it got pressed into the actual vinyl. It's not something I just got stuck in the sleeve or something. So yeah, that's stuck with that bug. But yeah, otherwise than that, it's not a single pop on it other than that first like 20 seconds of the second side there. So I guess it's not a bad place for it to happen. It's a good track, but yeah, that's going to happen. That's one of the better tracks for it to happen. Continuing. This is another pickup in Japan, another German pressing. Different shop though. No, it's not allowed to start with Blake sleeves. Well, not really Blake sleeves. They're Japanese sleeves. But yeah, Carl Perkins. This is not an original, but it's like a comp German pressing 70s, I guess. on the Sun label. So, and Sun and some other, I forgot, Bellaphone or something? Bellaphon. Yeah, so German pressing. Sounds quite good. So Carl Perkins, got the original version of Blue Suede Shoes. Yeah, Movie Mag, I don't know. It's a pretty solid album. If you know Carl Perkins, if you like Elvis, you're going to like Carl Perkins. So, definitely, actually, I need to buy some Elvis. I don't have any Elvis anymore. It's Elvis, and I really need some the Jackson. I had some stuff sitting in my buy list. I was going to pick up a bunch because I was doing a lot of overtime, but that ship sailed. So unfortunately, yeah, there goes all my extra spending money. So I guess I'm just going to be enjoying the records I got for a while. Maybe it's like one album a month until this thing goes away because I really need some furniture. Next, don't ask me to read that other than I can tell you it's out of Tohoku. So this is like a Japanese traditional album. I left the price tag on there just because I bought it in Japan, 100 yen. It's like a buck. So I found this in a bargain bin of a thrift store. So they actually have bargain bins at the thrift store. So they have the dollar album bin, and then they have the ones they actually mark up. Where I found some really incredible stuff like Can over the years, which they had that marked at maybe $20, but yeah, $20 original, yeah, buy it. Yeah, so this is what this is kind of a traditional Japanese music out of the northern regions of Japan, not like upper islands, but the northern of the Honshu, the boot-looking main island where Tokyo is. You go all the way to the north. So think like Tibetan throat singers with a Japanese slant. It's kind of along those lines. If Tibetan throat singers. That's kind of like the Japanese equivalent of that. So yeah, if you're in the mood, it's kind of a chill album for end an evening on. Definitely will be spinning this again. It's kind of interesting, and yeah, it's a good thing to kind of remember my time in Japan. Kind of the stuff like you kind of associate with hearing at the temples or whatever. So it's a gatefold, but it's all Japanese for the most part. Yeah, a lot of the gatefolds in Japan have these like cool booklets in them. Yeah, unfortunately that's above my reading level, but yeah, kind of cool. Basically, these go for some bucks outside of Japan, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, yeah. If next time I go to Japan, I have a few bucks, I'm definitely gonna blow a lot of money there. Get some of the stuff I couldn't get just because of storage issues. That was the main. Yeah, I was blowing through some cash while I was living in Japan, but I just had no place to store these things. Like I could store like 3 or 4 bins, and that was about it. So I just have to bring it back to the States every once in a while. Small Tokyo apartments. Yep, this was another find. I know I've shown this before, but I picked this up in Japan. So I guess let's leave. Yep. So this is Hamza Eldin, and yeah, so sort of traditional, but not traditional. So it has a nice little info in the back here. Great pressing. This thing sounds amazing. We throw some headphones on. It sounds like this dude is right in the room with you. So this is the Water Wheel Escalade. Yep. So it's got a Middle Eastern. It's kind of a mix of styles. If you read the back, it sounds kind of traditional, but it's really not. So apparently this guy was like up studying. He was born in Sudanese Nubia, and he was studying Arabic classical music. So it's kind of a mixing of styles. So almost like a guitar kind of thing, but kind of mix of traditional Arabic styles. Pretty chill. So voice and I believe it's called Ode. So it's that I don't know guitar year or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of quite a good album if you ever see these. I think they're fairly rare. I snapped this up in a second. I think I paid about $6 or $7 for it in Japan. Yeah, cover's in pretty good shape. The split on the top, but the album's in really good shape. Yeah, I would definitely pick up more of these. I see them. It's awesome. Oh, I hear another Blake sleeve coming. Okay, well, don't need to pull this one out. So here, Blues Moods by Blue Mitchell, Japanese pressing. I think this is like a 70s repress. This original, I think this is a 74 pressing. I believe this came out in 1960, 60 maybe originally. But yeah, it has Wynton Kelly on it, and Sam Jones, and Blue Mitchell on trumpet. So yeah, I don't know. I spent a bit of time. This is one of the ones I was kind of searching out when I was in Japan because I just absolutely love this album. So if you're into like kind of that hard bop, uh, yeah, the 50s hard bop sound, this is a essential album, I'd say. Search it out. Next, I can't remember if this was a 50 cent or a $2 fine, but either way, it was well worth it. Levin Home, out of the band. This is one of his solo albums, 77, so it was around the time the band broke up. But it's kind of a cool die cut, actually. So, yeah, that's inner sleeve, and then, yeah, there you go. It's got all the pillows there. So it's got Donald Duck Dunn, Paul Butterfield on harmonica, of all things. Yeah, Booker T. Jones, Steve Cropper, Tom Malone on trombone, Howard Johnson on baritone sax and tuba. But yeah, if you like the band, you'll like this. It's pretty, surprisingly, it's not that. It's only got like 3.5 stars on Discogs. I looked, but I'd say it's a solid 4 or so. But I don't think they go for a lot. So if you see these in the bargain bin or whatever, I'd pick them up. It's a good one. And this is out of my original collections and shrink anyway, so it's not going to do anything by doing that. So this is the Night Kings on Super Electro, third album on third Super Electro album. So that was Steve Turner at Mudhoney's label on red vinyl. It's just pretty straight ahead 90s revival garage stuff. Not terribly remarkable in any way, but it's fun. So yeah, Night Kings. There you go. So yeah, I bought a lot of Super Electro and Estrus and Get Hip and all that stuff in the 90s. I always loved that stuff. Still do. It holds up. But yeah, not something I'd go out of my way to find, but it's a cool album. Next one. This was a fairly recent purchase. Just got around spinning it. This one's like a little harder to get a hold of, but this is a repress of Babes in Toyland. Excellent, excellent pressing. This is their second album, Fontanelle. And this repress is on the reprise. I don't know. I always say reprise. 180 gram vinyl. Who did this repressing? I don't know. But anyway, the pricing sounds amazing if you find this. So it's on black vinyl. They reproduced the kind of the old school label. So yeah, the interesting thing is it had the nice archival sleeve, but it also came with the original sleeve with all the lyrics. So that's not an inserted sleeve. I thought that was pretty cool they did that. But yeah, sounds amazing. Awesome album. Definitely one of my top 90s albums, especially the A side. I think is a lot stronger than the B side, but B side is still pretty good. So this was the one that has Bruised Violet, Bluebell on it, Handsome and Gretel. And what else? I think those are the ones that were really big. You'll probably recognize some of the songs off this if you were to stream it. Yeah, awesome. One of the best Riot Girl albums of that era. I don't know if they identified as Riot Girl though. I think they identified more as punk. And next one, still in the shrink. I found this down in the Carolinas when I was digging down there a couple years ago. But I don't think this is a terribly hard one to get. Roberta Flack is one of, I don't know if this was her first album, it's definitely one of her earliest. So Quiet Fire, definitely one of her best albums. It has some amazing stuff on there. Opens up with Go Up Moses, her cover, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Amazing Sunday, and Sister Jones. Funny thing, yeah, still in the shrink. You know, luckily, they checked off the tracks I guess they liked, but I like the exact opposite tracks of the ones they checked. It's kind of funny. Um, Sunday and Sister Jones is amazing. Apparently, they like See You Then. Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? That's the one everyone knows, I guess. That's a great opener on the second side. Apparently, they liked To Love Someone, which is, yeah, it was quite good too. Uh, Let Them Talk and Sweet Bitter Love, apparently they loved. 1971, Roberta Flack, I believe this is the original pressing. It's got the original sleeve. But yeah, you know Roberta Flack. Killing Them Softly. I think I showed that recently. I picked that up for a couple bucks recently with the original pressing. I think it was a Canadian pressing, but it had the sleeve on it. Laptop and stuff there. Oh, sorry, Blake Sleeve. Come on. Yeah, this one's an amazing album. This is the supposedly this is the secret Herbie Mann album. It's been an amazing lineup. This is a Japanese repress on CTI/A&M. So it's actually the a band Soul Foods, but it's a secret Herbie Mann. Sorry, secret Herbie Mann album. I guess he had contractual issues or something. So it does sound like Herbie Mann, but yeah, no one ever. Yeah, if you read up on this album, yeah, supposedly it is him, but no one's ever confirmed it either way. But yeah, this is the King Records in Japan. It goes with the insert. This has Herbie Hancock on it. Don't have a yeah, so it's on the A&M. Got yeah. So Herbie Hancock appears courtesy of Blue Note. Ron Carter on bass. Eric Gale and Herbie Hancock on finger piano. I guess they're playing the handheld things there. Paul Griffin on organ. Not familiar Grady Tate, but he's on drums. Eric Gale again on guitar, and I don't know him so well. Bucky Pizzella, Ray Barretto, of course, on percussion. Yep, and yeah, some soul flutes, ensemble, and piccolo. You got Joel Kay, George March, Romeo Pink, Stan Webb, Henry Watts on vibes. But yeah, suppose and it's on Van Gelder recording there. But so 68. So English and Japanese, but yeah, so supposedly this is the secret Herbie Mann album, but he's not credited on there. Who knows? Does sound like him. Wow, still got a bunch of stuff there. It's gonna run long. High Rise. So this is our recent repress. This is supposedly the pressing to get though. This is a Japanese kind of hard psych band. This is an 80s release. There's High Rise 2, so it's their second one. So released 86 by the PSF label. So it's just improvised, a lot of just heavy bass, fuzzed out bass and guitar, whatever. So they, I don't know if there's anything really to show in here, but it's a pretty nice pressing. Came out like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. You can probably still find them, but yeah, it's on like a textured black sleeve, still in the shrink there. But yeah, the one to check out is Popsicle. They split it into 2 words, Popsicle, but it's spelled like the popsicle that you eat. But anyway, not cycle. Popsicle. So check that track out if you can. It's amazing. The rest of the album's pretty solid, but yeah, the final track's the one that really gets me. But yeah, Japanese mid-80s buzzed out garage psych. Pretty good one. This one was kind of a bargain. Didn't find it at a local bookstore, but great sounding pressing. Great copy, little ringware there. But yeah, Maria Mulder. What was it? I don't say Last Night in Bangkok. What's it called? Midnight at the Oasis. That was her big one. But yeah, it's a very eclectic album. Like sometimes it's like country rock and sometimes it's jazz. It's all over the place, but it's a very solid album otherwise. My only complaint is it's just all over the place. It's very, very eclectic, which is probably why I guess this album didn't take off as much as some of her other stuff. A little too much of a mix of stuff there, but I still highly recommend it because you can get this on the cheap. I think at the regular store, I think it was like just a couple bucks. I definitely need to get her big album, but Maria Mulder, you guys probably know her to some degree or not. But yeah, Paul Butterfield again on here. Ray Brown, Very Sweet Edison, yeah. But yeah, it's a really, really good album actually. Just a really odd mixture of jazz and country rock and folk. It's just a really weird mixture, but it's definitely one I'm going to be playing a lot. Sorry, I should have taken these out of the plate sleeve here. This one, Yosuke Yamashita, or Yamashita Yosuke. Mental. This was one of his later ones, but it's actually really good. On Kitty Records, that label that has cats on it. Not as cool as some of the earlier 70s ones, but so this one is basically covering a lot of standards. So he was one of the big Japanese free jazz guys. So I think I mentioned to you, Andrew, Tales of the Great, if you're watching this. Yeah, check this out. You'd love it. His 70s stuff I think is a little stronger, but this one's still a really good album. So he's covering I gotta turn off my notifications. So over the rainbow, autumn leaves, which is almost unrecognizable. He's a pianist. Bolero, Stardust, Summertime. But again, he constructed them so much. Like a lot of the original tunes are barely recognizable. But really, really good album. I think it's just him on this guy. It's all solo, but apparently there's a video version, VHS, Beta, and Laserdisc. So that's kind of cool. Maybe you can find a video of this. So Sentimental by Yosuke Yamashita. If you check out his earlier stuff, it's really raw. Not raw, but it's really free jazz, but it's like really hardcore free jazz. But this is still fairly hardcore for even an 80s production. So broke into some singles. This one I bought wasn't familiar with the artist, but it was on Elektra. I need to get some other paper sleeves, I guess. But yeah, David Gates. So A side, I guess, was the big hit, Goodbye Girl, which was okay, but I really enjoyed the B side, which was David Gates' Sunday Rider. So I paid $1 or $2 that. I took a gamble on Elektra, found it at the hardware store of all places. Should have gone back. Yeah, they had a couple other ones I kind of kicked myself for not buying. I should have gotten the Everly Brothers, and they had some nice, what's her name? Nancy Sinatra. So here, another Japanese band, the Radios, spelled with a Y. So this was so after Teen Generate had more or less broken up, this was, let's see, is Fink from Teen Generate. Another guy knows Sawa, guitarist out in Japan. So this is kind of hard-hitting garage stuff from Japan. This is an American pressing on Secret Mission Records, who I'm a big fan of. They do some nice reissues and a lot of good Japanese stuff, especially the Tokyo scene there. But yeah, this is pretty solid, kind of hard-hitting power pop stuff. Next, I have a lot of Mudhoney singles. So this is Mudhoney from the Porn soundtrack. I never watched that. Yeah, so the classic Steve Turner, Matt Lutkin, Mark Arm, Dan Peters lineup. And on the back side is Strapping Field Hands. I don't think I've ever heard by them. It's kind of interesting though, because it's a little different than Mudhoney. So right this is the track. It's on AMRAP of all things. And it's a limited pressing. So Porn is apparently some kind of documentary film. It's Goat Cheese. Maybe you can look that up. It's a pretty solid track. So this would have been done when they were already signed to Reprise. I always say Reprise. This is my original. I think this was their first It's not a full-length album. It's probably about 20 minutes, 10-inch side. But Bikini Kill, most notably Suck My Left One and Carnival. But Bikini Kill, self-titled on Kill Rock Stars. They repressed this recently, but yeah, it's a pretty solid album. I think the ones that came out a little bit after this were a little stronger, but it's a solid thing there. So yeah, that was recorded by Ian Mackay, I think it's Mackay. Ian Mackay out of Fugazi, Minor Threat, whatever. So yep. So solid album. That was when I guess they were just transitioning to Olympia from DC. They were originally a Washington DC band. So yeah, they really kicked ass when they played in DC. Every time I saw them outside of DC, they kind of sucked, which was kind of interesting. But every time I saw them in DC, it was a completely different band. It was amazing. And this is my original copy of Miles in Tokyo. So yeah, original pressings had this sticker actually. That's the original. It's not. I think it has a sticker or some boss. That's a sticker. Yeah, they stuck a sticker on there. So SK seal of approval. Signal gold disc. Signal gold disc or something. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. So the Japanese version's got a little booklet. I don't know. I haven't seen the represses in person. I don't have the OB strip. I don't think. Yeah, it has a little booklet inside. The wrong color. Okay. Anyway. And I think it had some inserts. But it's got, yeah, so the original ones had the kind of rice paper, whatever. Oh, but anyway, yeah. That's what the originals look like. Who's on this? So Sam Rivers, Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, Ron Carter. Yeah, that was Ron Carter. And Miles Davis. Yep. So Miles in Tokyo. So yeah, pretty solid before he got too crazy. I like his crazy stuff though. And yeah, we'll just end this out. This is like, I can't remember if I showed this last video, but yeah, Andrew Sisters. So I think they were backing up like Frank Sinatra or something, but yeah, pretty, I don't know. I was just kind of in a sentimental mood, so it's just 40s vocal pop stuff. But I think this was like a 60s or 50, late 50s, early 60s, something like that. But yeah, I think the kind of stuff you would expect Captain America to listen to, I guess. But yeah, this is pretty interesting album. I'd probably pick up some more because I think I paid 50 cents for that. I pick more up for 50 cents for sure. But anyway, it's getting long here, so I'm just going to sign out. You guys take care. Enjoy your time listening to your records. If you're like me, you're getting a lot more listening time in this week. So yeah, I probably should be logging on to my work computer in case something's blowing up. So yeah, take care, guys. I think the lighting's working a bit better today because I'm using natural lights. At dusk or night, it tends to be kind of harsh. Yeah, I don't know. For listening, I like the dimmer lights, but the dimmer lights make it harder to shoot video. So anyway, take care, guys, and hey, see you next week. Jeff signing out.